Hello, my name is Olivier. I'm going to show you today how to use spray can, and for that I'm going to use MTN94 can with the 4 caps that I use the most often. This is a New York fat cap. I've got MTN94 stock cap, which comes with this brand, an Astro cap, and a red needle cap. They all have certain things that I need for the paintings that I do. I paint pretty much everything from mainly portraits, characters, animals, letters, everything, whatever. And I find that these two caps are the best for me. The Astro cap is good for filling big areas, for fading, whatever. And these, the New York fat cap that comes with the cans, are great for the details and whatever. I use the red needle when I want to do a sort of a drip effect. That works really good. The New York fat cap is when I want to do small fades, or when say if I'm doing a piece and I want to do an outline, and the consistency of this cap is perfect. It'll be the same thickness all around, and it's all around pretty good. Cool, let's get started. Okay. Basically, this is addressed to beginners, and if you don't know how to paint yet, if you already know how to paint, you're probably going to leave a hate comment. Feel free, but this is just in case you don't know how to use a can and you want to get to grips with it. I'm going to show you what I know, and if you got any questions, just feel free to ask, and I'll answer them when I can. Cool. Okay, so the way this works is the amount of pressure that you're applying on the cap will determine how much paint is coming out, and with how much with a certain amount of pressure. So if you're pressing a tiny bit, then you get thin lines, which are a bit harder to get than thick lines. And the more you get comfortable with it, and the more you can control it, it's called can control. The better you can control is, the more fun you're gonna have, I guess, painting. So with this cap, if I press just a little bit, I'm gonna do a dot. Oops. Cut. Take 2. All right. Okay, so that's a dot. That'll be a line, and if I press fully, that'll be the line, and that'll be the dot. If I do the same with a New York fat, get a dot, get a line, bigger one, and a dot. Obviously, depending on the distance that you have between your wall and you'll get a different thickness. With the same cap, you can get the same line or thinner. I can get with this cap a line that's thinner than this by pressing just a little bit on the cap and being really close to the wall. So this is thinner than the one I did earlier. Obviously I can, if I'm really trying with this one, I'll get a line that's probably going to be even thinner than this. Also, if you keep your cans cold, and if you're trying to do fine details, keep your cans cold, because that will help. If you're painting in the sun, always keep your cans away from the sun, unless you actually want maybe a blue for the background and you want it to come out really fast. Say with an Astro cap, then by all means leave that in the sun, or even put it in hot water or something, If not, keep your cans very cool, maybe on ice, or I never put them on ice, but I mean, I always keep them away from the sun, so that's good. Speaking of Astro cap, the only two that you really need would be a thin cap like this one, and a big cap, either like an Astro cap, a fat cap, all of that stuff. It's best, especially if you're starting, to not have too many caps, because it's just confusing, Okay, with this one, if I do a small dot, it's like this, it wants to drip because there's so much more paint coming out. If I do a line, it's thin, but it's just begging to come out with a lot more paint, because this paint allows for a lot more pressure and paint at the same time coming out. I really have to try to keep it thin with this one. This is more what it does, and this is a dot, a small dot is on there. So depending on you see all of these caps, depending on the distance that you have with your wall and the amount of pressure you're applying on the cap, you will pretty much get the same thickness with all of these caps. It's just some of them are going to be more suited for certain jobs. Like if you're working on thin, New York fat is going to be perfect. You know, it's going to be a lot less effort. Oh, that's pretty thin. It's going to be a lot less effort to do a thin line with this one than it's going to be with a bigger cap. And at the same time, if you've got to fill a big area with this one, you're going to struggle as opposed to this one or that one. It's going to be pretty good. Okay, the last one I use, it's mainly when I'm building props and stuff like that. It's a red needle. It's really good for doing splatters and props. So if I press slightly, I'm getting all this kind of dots kind of thing. I use it a lot when I do fake rust. So I'll be spraying some orange on a chrome surface or a grey surface, and doing that again with brown and all that, building up the layers. And you can get the same effect if you have your can away from the wall. Then you can press fully, and it gives you pretty much the same thing. Always wear a mask. Obviously I can't use one now because you wouldn't hear me. I use a 3M MDF mask, disposable ones. They're really good. They're really close to your face. They don't have the cartridges that stick out, so when you move, you know, it doesn't go like that. It's just close to your face. So that's really cool. If you don't want to use a mask and you're outside, well, what I do personally, obviously I can't tell you not to wear a mask, it wouldn't be wise, but if what I do when I'm outside and it's really open air and I'm only doing small details, whatever, what I do is I hold my breath, be painting, come back out, breathe, go back in, da da da. But if I'm using an astro cap and I'm filling in, then I definitely have the mask. And if I'm indoors, even if I do this kind of stuff, I would definitely be wearing a mask. Cool. These ones, if you're doing a line, it's just not going to be good. It oversprays everywhere, and it's this is kind of cool to reach about 2 meters or something when you're trying to be naughty. But apart from that, it's mainly for effects. Well, I use them mainly for effects. Okay. When you're painting, to get different sort of effects with your on your canvas, what you do is you orientate the can in a certain way. If I'm going this way, I'm gonna have say if I'm doing a line there, the line is going to be really sharp and it's going to fade that way, but that's going to be really clean. If I'm going like this, that's going to be really clean, that's going to fade out. So if I want to do, say if I want to do a plus and I want to go around that plus really clean, what I do is I get the can like this. See, it's nice and straight, and then it fades out, and then turn the can, and I keep turning the can like that. Bam. Can's on the side, can's upside down. When it's upside down, you can't always you can't use it for a long time, obviously, because the bubble of air goes back to the top, so you know it doesn't allow it to come out. But just shake it and do it again, and that's it. Just and this is how you get nice thin lines as well. Another way you can get thin lines is to do cutbacks. Whoa. Okay. So, say if I want this to be nice and thin, so like this, then I come back on top, and ta-da! And obviously I can get thinner by cutting more. You get the point. When you're doing this, it's always good to have the same brand. If you're cutting back with say a Belton or a gold or black or whatever, sometimes the colors change. Like if you're using a white over like a coversol, which is tar, it'll turn yellow. Sometimes it doesn't dry properly, it works a bit weird. So if you're doing cutbacks, it's always best to have one brand, or let it dry, definitely. Cool. Another thing as well, when you're painting, if you want to go from here to here, don't stand here and then reach out, you know, like this, because your lines are going to be kind of bad from at the end. So you kind of get in the middle of where you want to be, and then you follow it around. It's a lot easier. Another thing as well, you always want to keep the same distance when you're doing a line. You see, you heard the can scrape on the wall. I do that a lot. It doesn't matter. The thickness is pretty much the same. And what you want to do, you don't want to flare. Say if you're painting down like this, if you're doing a line, you don't just want to be, well, say if I'm standing up, I don't want to be just going like this, because then it flares out and it's not good. You want to go with it. Depending, regardless of the thickness you're using, you want to go with it. So then you got the same, or pretty much the same thickness all around, and it's the same if you've got to go through a big area. You just get in the middle of where you want the line to be, or the curve, the straight, whatever, and you sort of think before you're going to do it of where it's going to start, where it's going to finish, and how you're going to do it. And this way you get a nice thin line, as opposed to, you know, getting something that's not as good. And obviously here I could probably reach from here to there. Well, kind of. But when you're painting on a wall and it's a bigger line, then obviously you want to be in the middle as much as you can, and then really follow it through. Cool. I think I need some fresh air. That's all I can think of. If there's anything that I didn't talk about, feel free to ask me about anything, any products I use, any techniques that you might want to learn and stuff. Today I'm just going to get some food, and then I'm going to start a portrait, and I'm going to explain what I'm doing, doing the photorealistic portrait. So feel free to watch that. That's going to be on there soon. And yeah, so as I say again, if you got any questions, feel free to ask me, and I'll be happy to help you. See ya!